You're watching Alaska's news source.
The LSL program is the reason I graduated early. Without the LSL program, I would not be the girl I am today.
Today on the Morning Edition, packed rooms, passionate parents and students fighting to save the programs they love as the Anchorage School District battles a massive budget crisis. Plus,
release seatbelts! Leave everything!
Everything that could go wrong went wrong, yet still 80 people survived the accident.
We explore the latest data in aviation and ask the question, just how safe is it to fly? The answer and the numbers may surprise you. And later.
I'm so happy. I love recognition.
And recognition she got. Mindy Kaling is collecting honors like Kelly Kapoor collected office gossip. Now she is adding another big achievement as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us on a Wednesday.
I think we need a Morning Edition star.
We should. I mean,
walk, right?
Hello. We could just have them like lining on the, the pavement there.
We'll give y'all both one.
There we go. Appreciate it.
Waking up this morning, we are still holding on to some of those mild conditions across South Central. One thing we are watching as you take a look outside, this is looking towards the C Street Bridge. Notice that glare on that road. We've been seeing some melting take place the past couple of days. That combined with those overnight temperatures dropping back below freezing will lead to the potential that we do have some slick spots across South Central. So just take note of that this morning. 30 degrees is where we're currently sitting at with winds remaining fairly light. And like we've been dealing with for most of this week, we've got more of the same. Rain near the coast. Inland areas will largely stay dry with clouds expected to stay with us for a good portion of South Central. Now, areas in the valley out towards the Copper River Basin, clouds will gradually stream back in towards the afternoon and evening hours, but you can expect to see some sunshine throughout the first part of the day. Rain primarily staying confined towards coastal regions. Western Prince William Sound really going to see the brunt of the rainfall this week. And the rain today is going to be a lot less active compared to what we see what we did see for your Monday and Tuesday. We can't rule out a few spotty flurries and some sprinkles for inland areas to start off your morning, but overall, we're going to continue to hold on to most of the rain near coastal regions. Temperatures once again climbing back into the 30s and the 40s. Notice through midnight, you can see just how less of the rainfall that we'll see for coastal regions. Less than about 4/10 of an inch for most locations, and then we'll pick up more of that heavier activity from Thursday on into Friday as we continue to see waves of rain building into the Gulf of Alaska. So active weather stays with us for both South Central, Southeast, out towards the Aleutians. Warm through the interior with highs in the 20s. And of course, we continue to hold on to those colder conditions for areas north of the Brooks Range. I'll break down more of this warm weather pattern and these active conditions for the Gulf of Alaska coming up.
In this morning's top story, your child's education. The Anchorage School Board faced hours of emotional testimony as parents, teachers, and students packed the room last night, fighting to save critical school programs.
The community pushed back against proposed budget cuts from sports to language immersion. Many worry the changes could impact students for years to come. Joe Allgood was there.
Well, here at ASD headquarters, over 100 people have come out to testify before the school board. I want you to take a look behind me at how many there are, and this is overflow. There's still many more inside the boardroom. The main thing on most of their minds, next year's budget.
Only 219 are allowed in this room.
In a packed boardroom.
The feedback from the public right now is critical. It has made a difference in the past.
And overflowing into the lobby, many concerned about budget cuts. To everything from sports to language programs.
It's just like a different culture. There's a bunch of different languages. It's just fun. Different. You get to learn about different stuff and things. It's just,
yeah. Like, why would you take away kids' education when you want them to be educated? So why would you want to take that away?
After those cuts were proposed 2 weeks ago, the board grappling with how to close a deficit.
The fact that we've increased PTR in this budget, the fact that we've put incredible programs like Immersion on this budget as a potential reduction, that's not a reflection that we feel that these programs are not valuable. It's really a reflection of how devastating the school funding situation is.
And here's just some of the things students were calling on the school board and the district to keep.
When I heard about the proposed budget cut, the proposed budget that would cut high school swimming, I was devastated.
Save gymnastics, save hockey. Just by adequately funding these programs, you could be saving someone's life one day. Thank you.
The Spanish Immersion and Ignite programs are a huge part of why I like school, because they challenge me to think in new ways.
The LSL program is the reason that I have a seal of biliteracy in Russian. The LSL program is the reason I graduated early. Without the LSL program, I would not be the girl I am today.
The meeting went on into the night as more and more students and parents made their voice heard.
Every year you threaten to take away something I love about my school. I hope this is the last time I have to do this.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
After last night's packed school board meeting, the fight to protect immersion programs is heating up.
One mother says cuts could put her children's school at risk, and as Lauren Maxwell reports, she's not alone.
The signs outside Holly Brooks' house show she's ready to fight.
We're trying to get the word out.
Brooks has 2 first graders enrolled in the French immersion program at O'Malley Elementary. 7-year-old Brooks and Ruby Joy. His 7-year-old twin. The children are in the 2nd year of French immersion. A program Holly says has been a great fit for her family. Now she's worried that budget cuts,
Yeah, you know, the news is heartbreaking.
Could take it away. And more than that, affect the school itself.
My fear is that if we lose immersion at O'Malley, you know, we'll also lose enrollment, and then O'Malley will be on the list for closure.
The school board president says those fears are somewhat well-founded if the funding situation stays the same.
I have no idea what this is.
The cuts that people are seeing right now is a worst-case scenario, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that that won't be the scenario, and it is going to have a big impact on the schools that have immersion programs side by side with a neighborhood school.
He's feeling confident more funding will come by the end of the session, but Holly and her children say that may be too late. They're fighting for it now.
Surprise.
What's that?
Surprise.
Surprise.
Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Well, after a fire tore through a homeless camp at Davis Park Monday, Mayor Suzanne LaFrance says her administration is monitoring the situation, but they're not ready to clear the camp just yet. Anchorage police confirm no injuries were reported, but several tents and makeshift structures burned. The mayor says the size and long history of the encampment make abatement complicated. A man who's lived there for 3 years says fires like this aren't uncommon.
It's cold out here, and municipality doesn't give us any help. People have wood fire stoves, and over time it starts to dehydrate the wood, and you know, some people have cardboard up and plastic.
The city does offer a number of housing and homeless resources. That includes a warming center and cold weather shelter.
Iditarod Bushers are rethinking their game plan after this week's big announcement. The restart is now moving to Fairbanks and delayed by a day. For the 4th time in race history, a lack of snow is forcing the change, shifting teams into a route that could favor speed. With long stretches of frozen river in interior Alaska, strategy will be key.
Run a little bit differently, not having the Alaska range, not having that 80 miles of dirt out of Roan. We'll be hitting this trail with a slightly different strategy. It becomes more of a speed race. So running from Fairbanks really benefits faster paced teams. And that is not my team. I don't have a particularly fast team, especially early on in this type of race.
As I don't train for speed, and this many hundreds of miles more on flat running suddenly makes speed substantially more important. So I'm trying to keep my spirits high because I still have my eyes set on the gold, but I can't help but a little bit inside be like, oof, well, there's a lot of teams in this race that are faster than me on flat land, and we've got hundreds and hundreds of miles of more flat land than was anticipated. So.
Jeff Dieter also predicts more teams will likely finish the race this year because the challenging Alaska range has been eliminated. Well, still ahead when it comes to first aid, knowing what to do could mean the difference between life and death.
A national program is teaching everyday people how to stop life-threatening bleeding before help arrives. We'll tell you how it works.
Active weather remains with us across the state with warm conditions outside of areas north of the Brooks Range. I'll have more on that the rest of the week ahead. But first, sunrise, 8:28 in Anchorage, Bethel, sunrise 9:14. Your full forecast is next.
Good morning, everyone. We're back here on your Wednesday, 13 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, and a warm week so far, Aaron.
Yeah, we're seeing a large portion of the state continuing to see those temperatures remaining well above average, with the exception of locations north of the Brooks Range. This is where we're going to continue to see daily highs remaining below zero. Meanwhile, the rest of Alaska is seeing that tilt towards warmer weather. We're already seeing that here in South Central, where those temperatures have been climbing into the 30s and the 40s. We've got active conditions to the Gulf of Alaska that's going to keep rain around. And we'll also see some areas of some wintry mix and possibly some light snow showers each morning out towards parts of southeast, where we do see those temperatures managing to drop down near or below freezing. For the most part, you can see the active weather continues through the Gulf of Alaska, out towards western Alaska, where we did see that heavy snowfall the past few days. That is beginning to taper off, but we're going to continue to hold on to waves of rain moving into the Gulf of Alaska, keeping rain for both south central as well as southeast, with this active weather pattern showing no signs of letting up for the time being. Now, as we head out towards western Alaska through the Aleutians, you can see those winds still remaining quite gusty, anywhere from 30 to nearly 50 miles per hour. This is persistent northeasterly flow that's pulling through the Chukchi Sea out towards the Bering Sea, as well as out towards Gamble, St. Lawrence. So that blizzard warning, that is still in effect until 3 p.m. this afternoon, where we could see winds gusting to about 55 miles per hour. That will lead to some lowering visibility through the remainder of the day. No winds here across South Central, and largely expecting to see all rain, but we could see some early morning pockets of some wintry mix in locations where those temperatures have dipped below freezing, near or below freezing. That's the same scenario out towards southeast, where we've got that slight chance for snowfall this morning. This activity begins to kind of taper off through the afternoon hours. We'll catch a break for coastal regions. And then on the hills of that system is another one building into the Gulf of Alaska that's going to lead to increasing rain for Kodiak through the evening hours. And then as we welcome in your Thursday, you can see widespread rain returning to coastal regions of both south central as well as southeast. So this wet weather pattern will stay with us as we continue to progress through the rest of February. Looking at the temperatures today, we'll top out in the upper 30s, mid to upper 30s for inland areas of South Central. Much like we saw yesterday, we could see a few locations managing to break into the 40s. That avalanche danger still holding at moderate. Yesterday, it was considerable above 2,500 feet. Fresh wind slabs up to 1.5 feet deep above 2,000 feet is possible. The safest option is to just avoid any of those steep wind-loaded slopes as we continue to hold on to some of those gusty winds out of the east and those higher elevations. Less than a half an inch of rain across southeast today, with temperatures in the 30s and the 40s. We'll see some heavier rain arrive into Thursday and Friday. We've got coastal rain continuing for the Kenai, although it will lighten up through the day with increasing rain into the evening for Kodiak with a high of 40 degrees. Coastal rain lightening up across Prince William Sound as well, still favoring western areas of the Sound, where we'll see some of that heaviest rain through the rest of this week. 30s and 40s into the valley. This is where we'll see that better opportunity for seeing some peaks of sunshine throughout the day. 34 in Willow, 35 in Palmer, and 42 degrees in Talkeetna. That 7-day forecast. Daily highs, mid to upper 30s. Now, so far this month, we have yet to record any official snow totals in Anchorage, but there is a potential that as we welcome in next week, we could see some light snow. We'll take what we can get, because right now we're currently sitting at 0 inches or a trace, which if we end the month with no snowfall, it'll be the first time in recorded history for February.
That is so bizarre. Wow. All right. Thanks, Aaron. Accidents happen, and traumatic injuries are a leading cause of preventable deaths.
A national program is teaching people how to act fast, and that could make all the difference in an emergency. Adrian Peterson has this morning's health report.
According to the CDC, over 300,000 Americans die from traumatic injury each year. The American College of Surgeons says it's also the #1 cause of preventable death.
These kind of injuries happen all the time.
Working to prevent more deaths of that nature, the Stop the Bleed program teaches folks how to prevent death from the loss of blood following a traumatic injury.
There's only 3 steps to the entire program. The first thing is being able to put in motion a seamless transition of getting help that is like medically trained, higher trained, help to you in your immediate area. I would say the second thing is being able to identify like a major bleeding crisis or a major bleeding emergency, and ultimately how to stop that or how to prevent it.
Those are laid out in the ABC process, the final step being the hands-on prevention of blood loss.
The fact is that you play how you practice. That hands-on practicum and practical skill that you get, it's a good class, and it's better to practice it now until and rather than waiting for an emergency.
The program allows students to learn the skills needed to provide direct pressure, wound packing, using a tourniquet, and stabilizing something lodged in the body. Skills that could save a life. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
You've been listening to the Alaska's News Source podcast. Subscribe to have the latest episodes delivered to your library automatically.